What is going on? Welcome to the DeFi Degen podcast number 16. We're on number
Hey,
16.
let's go.
Let's go. I'm here with Ian, ID Crypto, like I always am.
Yes, sir.
Today, we're going to be talking about crypto news, the Wonderland drama, a lot of crazy shit going on with Wonderland. Talk about that, how to position your portfolio in a bear market or for a bear market. Hopefully, we aren't going into a bear market. But like I always say, the best portfolio to have is to be able to say, I don't know and I don't care in regards to where the market is going. That's kind of how I like to position my portfolio, is to have that power saying, I don't know and I don't care. And we'll discuss that here in a second. And then the future of yield farming, we'll talk about that briefly at the end. And let's just take a look at the crypto market quickly. We're bouncing back. We might have found a bottom, right? What do you think,
Yeah.
Ian?
Yeah, I think this is in response to Apple's earning reports, and there's a lot of technology stocks that are doing well as a result. And I think crypto generally trades in line with technology stocks, so that could be explaining it a little bit. And also, I think the Fed meeting was largely positive, just because a lot of economists thought that it was going to be more hawkish than it actually was.
Hawkish.
So
Yeah, for sure. Any projects you want to point out? I know, look up
oh,
time real
come
quick.
on, man. Yeah, a little tough. I mean, it was at
Last
10,000. Now it's at 357. But
it's you win some, you lose some, right? Not
yeah,
man, that's tough. That's tough. But it is what it is, and you'll roll with it, right? Honest, we'll talk about the possible airdrop, whatever you want to call it here, or buyback, whatever they want to call it
yeah.
here in a second. But any other projects you want to point out the price action of?
Let's see.
Terra.
Terra. I think Terra is interesting because I don't know exactly the tokenomics, but I think when it goes down, it really goes down. It's also known as like a falling dagger,
And
where
why is that, do you think? Is there any like domino effect at play here?
yeah, there is. I actually can't remember off the top of my head, but I know there's just the way that it's structured. It usually, like, in a bull market, it goes up like considerably, which it did from 88 cents. But the same thing is true in a bear market. But
Interesting.
um,
Interesting.
yeah.
There is stuff happening with Anchor, which probably has
hmm
you know what? Let's take a look at DeFi Llama real quick and look at the total value for Anchor. Let's see, chains.
My
Let's
guess
see
is
here.
probably around 3 billion.
3 billion. Let's see. Well, that's weird. They kind of switched that up. Are these all the scaling? Interesting. Look at
Oh,
that. So now it says Ethereum and it lists Arbitrum, Optimism, Metis, Boba, whatever the
oh
frick that
yeah,
is. And that is this all the scaling solutions
yeah.
for like interesting. And then Polkadot, all the Polkadot parachains. Whoa,
I
Energy
like that.
Web. That's cool. I like that a lot as well. Damn. Polkadot. Dang, that's really, really, really cool. Maybe, honestly, maybe like Boba may be worth looking into, or I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
for sure. I don't know
But
much about Metis either.
yeah, me neither. But anyways, Anchor total value lock 6.9 billion,
Oh
but
wow,
last 7 days 24% down in total value
interesting.
locked. And this is stable coins, right? Or is this or is this Terra Luna as well?
Yeah, Anchor is for UST. You deposit UST and you get paid in UST.
Got it. Interesting. Whoa. Yeah, the Terra Luna ecosystem not looking so hot this week. Everything down 20-30%. Not good at all. But let's go ahead and move on to the newsletter now. Crypto news. Let's talk about, I mean, the markets were kind of just stagnating a little bit. Obviously it's very a lot of people have been losing a lot of money. It's stressful, but you know what? I think for people that just got into crypto over the last year, this is actually a blessing in disguise. Obviously, it has yet to be seen, and this upcoming week is going to be a big week to see if the White House and Joe Biden decides to implement an executive order against crypto. I don't know what that entails. Do you have any insight on that, Ian?
Yeah, I mean, they're super broad with it. Basically, they're going to put together a team of people to research Bitcoin, stablecoins, NFTs, and other cryptocurrencies, just kind of a broad regulatory framework to try to, because it's very haphazard right now, like in terms of how they're regulating it. So they want to create a more general framework, basically.
Interesting. Yeah, this is going to be super interesting to see over the next week. I'm sure if an executive order gets put together and pushed through, it's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be ugly.
Yeah.
Just a lot of little details that open the door for X, Y, and Z, right? And it's going to be weird to see, but obviously maybe it's something that is not as bad, and maybe that becomes bullish, right? I don't know. It's yet to be seen. Yet to be seen. Yep. Anyways, let's move on. Anything else on that, Ian? Any other thoughts on that?
No, I think you covered it pretty well. The other interesting thing that I've noticed, and I mean, the politicians have been doing this outside of crypto, obviously, but just trying to like slip little crypto regulation into like must pass legislation, and it's totally unrelated to crypto.
Right.
I think that's just really messed up, and I think they've tried to do that a couple times recently, but luckily, I think there's like a lobbying group that is kind of like pushing back on some of the legislation that they're putting through. So that's nice to see that that's actually a thing.
100%. I honestly think the crypto community is pretty strong. If something goes wrong, we make a lot of noise, right? And midterms are coming up, right? So if they pass some bullshit executive order through, the crypto community will voice its opinion for sure. And with midterms coming up, who knows, right? They might not want to do that. So We'll see. Anyways, let's get into this Wonderland drama. And who is this handsome, trustworthy fellow right here?
Damn. Oh, yeah. That is Sifu, who is an anonymous, he's the CFO of Frog Nation. But his name is actually, if you scroll down a little, Michael Patron, and a convicted felon. And he looks like one, to be honest.
He does, yeah. He does. He looks like he dropped the soap a couple times. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah, so he was in there for 18 months, federal prison, and, you know, he was part of an identity fraud ring online, so he had a number of charges related to that. And then he also co-founded Quadriga, which was a cryptocurrency exchange in Canada. And the CEO of Quadriga ran away with $169 million of funds. And he wasn't accused of any wrongdoing associated with that, but you know, clearly just a guy with not the greatest past. And he was the person that they decided to put in charge of $1 billion treasury. Now, obviously there was a multi-sig in the treasury, so he couldn't just run with the funds, but it just doesn't really make sense to do that. It's kind of like putting a pedophile in charge of like kindergartners. It just doesn't make sense.
That's a tough analogy, but it makes sense.
So obviously the community was like super unhappy with that, and Danielle has been dragged through the mud on this one. I think he got like 50 death threats. People were showing up to his house. So pretty crazy stuff, but I think the biggest lesson for me. Go ahead.
Did you see his tweet today about Wonderland and the upcoming vote?
Yeah, 100%. So they put it up to a vote. They could either wind it down and give all the treasury back to the community, or they can keep it going and basically have it be community run.
Right.
And actually the vote was in favor of keeping it together. It was very close, 54 to 46. But he's still winding it down because he thought that thought that it was too split.
Yeah, but he wants to wind it down. He wants nothing to do with it anymore.
Yeah.
He wants his money back. But then the community's like, no, let's keep it going. And now he wants to do a revote.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what this whole thread was about, doing a revote and doing a different. And then everybody's like clown, and everybody's like, this isn't a vote. It's all just like absolutely trolling him.
And think about how funny that is, the whole decentralization thing where like, but he's just redoing a vote that was already determined.
Right. Yeah. And it wasn't even that. It was 54-46. And that's like not that close, to be
Yeah,
honest.
exactly.
And it was like 10 whales versus a couple thousand littler dudes. And the littler dudes were like, no thanks. And then
Yeah.
the whales were like, yeah, let's do the buyback. Very interesting to see. So what is the takeaway for this, Ian? I interrupted you there.
No, yeah. I was just gonna say that the thing that I learned here was that in a bull market, there's so much hype and there's so much excitement that I think a lot of people can just overlook some of the weaknesses and some of the blind spots and a lot of protocols and developers. And I think that's definitely what happened here. And I experienced it firsthand. So I think it's definitely too important to kind of step outside of the hype, evaluate it objectively, and kind of have a contrarian view. So I think I'm going to be instituting more of that in my thinking, and I think it's important for everyone to do. Honestly, is just like really question everything and see if it makes sense to you. So
absolutely, it's so easy to fall into the hype and fall into the opposite of hype, FUD. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And you just have to be level-headed and objective as possible, and like try to find red flags. Don't try to cover up red flags, right? Actually try to find them and then bring, like, don't hide them, right? Once you see
yeah,
them, know they're there, take knowledge of it, and be like, okay, how big of an issue is this red flag? And then take appropriate action, right?
100%. And that's something I feel like is missing a little bit from crypto, is you don't hear as much about the risks as I think maybe you should. So
absolutely. Well, we'll try to note them here. I always talk about risks. I had a person, never mind, disregard that sentence. Let's move on. Let's move on. OBJ took a big L. So did Francis Ngannou. They both took their paycheck in Bitcoin when it was around 65,000. It got cut in half, 50% for taxes. So boom, boom, boom. You're pretty much at zero.
yeah, and it's the 50% on the original amount they were paid. I mean, when I saw this, it blew my mind. So funny.
Netted only 35,000 from the Rams contract this year. That's so painful to see, bro. Taxes really fuck people up, dude. Taxes
For
really
real.
fuck people up. Damn. But OBJ was very generous. He decided of his paycheck to offer Yep. That's definitely a tough paycheck for him. I don't know how he's going to pay his bills with 35,000. Hopefully he has write-offs. Yeah. He definitely lives in $1 million house, mansion, whatever.
Right.
And he's sitting there with, that's tough. Biggest gainers this week, synthetics popping off because of a reason we'll talk about here in a second. Loop ring, 33%, flow, 32%, helium, 27%. I think flow was popping off because they introduced their UFC NFTs.
Yeah, I could see that being huge.
I haven't looked. Yep. I have not looked in. Imagine, I really hope they start giving away tickets. I still have a big NBA Top Shot collection, but maybe I should look into the UFC collection because maybe I should grab a couple of those for sure.
For sure.
But anyways, let's move on to the future of yield farming. And obviously this is debatable, subjective, but this is kind of what we both, I tend to agree what Ian wrote here. So what do you think the future of L2s or yield farming is going to be?
Yeah. So, and this, by the way, this is just the very near future. I think you have a lot of blue chip DeFi projects seeing the volume on L2s growing rapidly. And that's obviously just because of the lower fees, quicker transaction speed, right? So, Optimism, Polygon, Arbitrum, whatever it might be, they're they're having a lot more volume, and DeFi blue chips are pretty easily able to launch their application and operations on those L2s. And so in order to bootstrap liquidity, a lot of them are giving mining rewards. And so you're able to, without really any transaction fees, you're able to capture some pretty good yield farming opportunities. And I think that's only going to continue. So this might only be here for a little bit, but it's a pretty attractive place to chase yield. And again, very low gas fees. So this could be an attractive opportunity. Obviously, as with anything in crypto, you definitely need to make sure you're depositing an amount that you're comfortable losing. But this could be an interesting play here. And for example, Synthetics is offering kind of a 1 month liquidity mining program for where they're giving out Synthetics to boost LP rewards. So that's just one example, but I think the best way to approach it is to just kind of go on DeFi Llama, go on all the L2s, and then look at all the protocols, and then just go one by one and see what opportunities there are, and just kind of monitor it.
Arbitrum's been popping off a little bit.
Yeah, no, it has for sure.
GMX has been popping off. I love GMX, and we'll talk about their NFTs here again in a second.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, dude, they've been popping. But no, Synthetics, I mean, bunch of projects are moving to L2s. I think Arbitrum's going to have a big year. Unfortunately, they do not have a token. I also think Optimism might just have a token, so keep an eye on Optimism. Also, I would be aware. I would be aware of these projects right here, such as Metis, Boba, along with maybe, I don't even know what this one is. Maybe I'll check that. There's one project on this, maybe not. Or who knows? But and then I think EVM compatible chains are also doing well. Okay, I like what they're doing. Kusama,
yeah,
all right, that's cool. Let's see where Cardano's at.
There it is, 40.
Where?
Number 40.
All right, so 3 protocols, 75 mil. All right.
3.
Yes. All right. Let's see what this token's doing. Interesting. I don't know. Maybe it's worth a look. But let's move on to the biggest losers. Once again, Terra is one of the bigger losers for this week. Kusama, once again, it is down 14%. Osmosis down 8%. And ICP down 6.5%. Yo, Ian, you hear me? I can't hear you, Ian. Nope. Dead in the middle. We're dead in the water. Damn. Thought you put yourself on mute. Shit. All right, let's see if he can get that working. I'll let you know. We keep messing around. Let's move on to positioning yourself for a bear market, and we're going to briefly talk about. Yo, Ian, can you hear? You're back in action.
Hey,
let's go. All right.
Wrong there, but
no idea. But you want to take this? Let's go through some of the reaction stuff. Let's go through some of the reaction stuff.
Let's do it.
So first off, we have. Nope, not this one. Let's see here. Not this one either. Let's see. Did I just lose $500,000 by sending wrapped ETH to the wrapped ETH contract address? So full story. He sent ETH to the wrapped ETH contract and got wrapped ETH back. Okay, so that's what he thought. Okay, assumed it works the same way. But the thing with this issue is if you click on the wrapped ETH contract address, I believe it has about $5 billion worth of, let's see here, from interacted with to, let's see. Okay, so it has over 1 billion worth of tokens.
Does that mean if you send it to that address, are the keys burned? So it's basically dormant?
Right. No, I don't think. Mm. So I don't think it's this is only says 1 million, sorry. But I think in I mean people are sending stuff in all the time and they just lose it, right? And that's what
Wow.
happened to him. Unfortunately, lost 500,000. I'm also very sorry. Negative event for the perception. Let's see. Any losing $500,000 worth of crypto by mistake is something that needs to be addressed before crypto can be. I agree. Dealing
Yeah.
with private keys and smart contract address directly is some pretty low level shit. Let's be honest. That means smart wallets. Okay, yeah. I agree with that. So
Yeah.
basically, everybody here is agreeing. I can't. Ooh, okay, never mind. Okay. Well, maybe it's not all clear. Sadly, grandma will probably not live to see the crypto mass adoption. Yeah, I do agree with that. Yeah, I mean,
These are all great points. This is like a
yeah,
good discussion. Yeah.
for sure. I think crypto definitely needs to be more user friendly. It's complicated. It's nuanced. There's a bunch of issues. But once I say this so often, but when there's issues, those issues act as a barrier to entry for people that want to find the opportunity. I mean, there would be not as much opportunity in DeFi as there is right now if there wasn't so many issues and quote unquote barriers to entry, right? So, I mean, once again, if you know how to navigate DeFi and these contract addresses, there's opportunities, right? And that's what we talk about all the time. Any thoughts on that, Ian?
Yeah, I just shows you how early we are too. And if you look back at the internet, originally it was just a bunch of people who were really familiar with the internet protocols and everything, and they had to go through a lot of things that now, we just see on the front end. So I think it's going to be a similar thing to the internet where we never have to understand how to use internet protocols or anything. We just kind of go on a web browser and it's a very easy process. And I think the same thing is going to be built for crypto as well, where most people aren't even going to really have to see, the smart contracts and all that stuff and really like understand and look at Etherscan and stuff like that. They'll have a much more simple like front end to use.
Absolutely. I mean, we're on the same page. How many years? Here's a question. How many years until you think that happens? So looking back at the dot-com bubble or dot-com,
Yeah,
let's say
good point.
2001, and I would say probably not until 2015 that wasn't super easy, or maybe sooner. What do you think?
I'm trying to remember back because like as soon as there was like the iPhone, I feel like that was like the same time around when it got like really easy to use the internet. Or
Right.
maybe even a little bit before. But I feel like it's probably like a 10-year thing.
10
Honestly,
years.
that's like just my gut feel. Like I think in 10 years it'll be figured out a lot more. Because
Okay.
even look back to 2020, how different it is with like crypto adoption. It moves pretty
Absolutely.
fast. So in 10 years, I think it's pretty safe to say that it'll be like much more mainstream, and I think it'll be easier for users to interact with it. Because I think for it to really go mainstream, it has to be that way.
Especially DeFi. So NFTs are another story, right? NFTs are
Yeah.
going mainstream so quick. Why? Because they're straightforward, easy to use, and obviously their utility. Hey, you're part of a community. It's a flex. Hey, I own a Bored Ape, right? It's a flex. DeFi is
Yeah.
going to take another level. There's going to be a lot of third parties between DeFi and normal users. Why? Because people don't know how to use bank accounts yet, right? The
Yeah.
bank's been around for 500 years, right? So people still don't know how to use banks. So don't expect people to understand DeFi anytime soon, but expect third parties to be a big part of it. And maybe, just maybe, Dingooo Crypto Asset Management will be part of it. Who
Hey,
fucking
let's
knows?
go.
Well, hey, right now we're down in the toilets. Right now we're down in the toilets.
That's where great stories are made.
Down in the toilets. That's right. Anyways, let's move on to Biden admin. Okay, this is kind of, we talked about that already. And now I see why crypto skeptics don't talk to crypto enthusiasts. We are really toxic. So this was just another
Hmm.
Reddit thread. I simply tweeted that Bored Ape Yacht Club for 100 ETH. That's the floor of Bored Ape Yacht Club's 100 ETH. I sold mine at 48 ETH because I'm a freaking licking idiot. Really didn't sit well. It seems dumb no matter how many exclusive rights you get. And Eminem.
Hey, let's go. I always do
Eminem.
that. I say NMM. or something.
Yeah, dude, is not going to show up to any of these parties with the crypto degens. What do you think? You think Eminem would party with some crypto board API club members?
I think if it gets to a level, I mean, Post Malone has one. I think Jimmy Fallon, Paris Hilton, more and more Gwyneth Paltrow. Like a lot of people are getting them. So if they keep
Yeah,
that
for
up,
sure.
maybe
Yeah,
Eminem will have one. Who knows?
yeah, for sure. The amount of people with little or no knowledge how blockchain and crypto work came attacking. At first, it was just a good banter and set of well nuanced arguments with mutual respect. Then came the people that started saying, "You're salty, dumb fuck," and so on. And then it's just human nature. Haters are going to hate, and salty people. I bet you the people that were saying dumb F and stuff were not, "You're salty." I don't even know if they were owners, right? I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's a good point.
But yeah, the internet always have salty trolls. It's just something you got to get over. But anyways, let's move on to GMX and GMX blueberries. Why? Because I might buy another one on live stream today.
Oh my god, this is going to become a recurring segment until he's cornered the market.
Until I got all 10,000 of them. But no, where the roadmap is coming out here shortly. I think the roadmap will be out here this week sometime. But the floor price is sitting 0.27 right now.
Ooh,
0.27.
okay. Is
That's
that
right.
almost a double or?
Well, 0.25 now. Well, I got one for free. So that's kind of cool. And then I bought 9 more. Just because I'm awaiting. So I got 10 of them, but they have been picking up in volume significantly, which is nice to see. I mean, a lot of them going over $1,000. I mean, it's going pretty well. I'm excited for the roadmap. They have their treasury. Let's see. Go back up here and go to their Blueberry Club, and then you should be able to see their treasury. So this is a pretty cool aspect.
Oh
You can see their
wow.
treasury, $579,000 in their treasury, and you can see how it's grown over the past month since they started it. So that's pretty cool as well. And
Nice.
yeah, I'm pretty big on GMX blueberries. We'll see what happens with it. I'm on it for the long ride. I'm riding it to 100 ETH floor because I'm not selling before 100.
Hey, let's go.
But you know what's going to happen, Ian? It's going to be 100 ETH floor, but Ethereum's going to be at $20.
Oh my god.
But anyways, let's talk about positioning for a bear market. Maybe GMX might, or not GMX, maybe NFTs might be a good way to position for a bear market because they only seem to be going up. I don't know. Obviously, what goes up must come down at some point, but NFTs have been blowing up. What do you think?
Yeah. I was gonna say, I kind of forgot to mention that when we were talking about the market in the beginning, but it really seems like NFTs are just unaffected by anything that's happening with crypto, which was really interesting. And a lot of NFTs actually like went up in ETH when ETH dropped, like they went up slightly. So that's kind of interesting to see that there actually is like kind of like almost a stable dollar pricing of NFTs. And yeah, I mean, not to get too deep into it, but it seems like NFTs just really mesh well with human nature and kind of how we communicate it as a species. So definitely see that as like a huge onboarding opportunity for crypto in general. Like we
Absolutely.
talked about last podcast. But just getting into this positioning for the bear market, it is really important to have dry powder, just because there's going to be some really attractive prices for projects. So making sure, I know you've talked a lot about like just taking profits, stablecoin pools. So hopefully you have a nice stablecoin pool, and these are just some areas that you can earn yield on until you find those projects that you have high conviction in. And I loved what you said earlier in the podcast about don't know, don't care. Right. One
Right.
way to do that is to just invest in projects that you can hold for 10 years and feel pretty confident in. So obviously there's a lot of things that change in crypto, but hopefully you can find those projects. So the
Absolutely.
first one here is Anchor. This is kind of an OG a little bit, 19.5% interest. It's been doing that for about a year. Josh, I think you have some ideas as to why that might go down, or some some concerns over it?
So basically, I mean, Anchor, the reserves are running out. That's basically it. That's basically it. We'll see
Yeah.
what happens with it. I mean, Luna's going down significantly in price. Does that have anything to do with it? Very well could. And anyways, the worst case scenario, in my perspective, is Anchor APY drops. That's the
Yeah.
worst case scenario. I don't see how UST can unpeg. I don't see anything else. Worst case scenario, that 19.5% goes down.
Ooh,
So,
now I just had an idea. I wonder if this creates almost a flywheel effect where if they have to decrease their APY, then it's not as attractive for people. So they sell their UST, which makes Luna go down further, and it just keeps going and going and going.
oh, a negative feedback loop. Okay. Yeah, very interesting. That's very likely too. Who knows?
Yeah. So
Damn,
that
that's
is a
tough.
risk. Just keep that in mind, obviously. But
Yeah.
I would say Anchor is one of the bigger TVLs, and they're considered one of the safer ones. Um, so
Absolutely. We also have Yearn. Everybody knows Yearn. It's on the Phantom Network now. You can earn 16 to 25% on your stables, which is nice. Synapse, which is the bridge, 11 to 20%, which is very nice. And this is mostly based off fees. So fees are sustainable as long as people continue using their bridge. It's sustainable, right? Also, I don't think Synapse does have a token disregard. And then the last one, Orion, I haven't heard of it, but Ian, you want to explain this one?
yeah. So basically, it uses the same. It uses Anchor to drive their yield, but instead of just UST, you can use other ERC20 tokens like USDC, USDT, and DAI. So if you don't want to hold UST, you can earn yield on these other tokens, and currently offers 13.5%, but that can go up to 20%. But you have to hold the Orion token and get rewards in Orion in order to get the boosted yield. So definitely
Very
something to
cool.
look for there.
Speaking of boosted yield, I definitely think that's going to be something that comes about in the future of what is it, yield farming, because toxic liquidity mine or yield farming has come and gone. I don't think that's coming back. But what GMX is doing and what sounds like a lot of other projects will DopeX is doing, they're escrowing the yield earned, right? And you can compound it. So if I go to GMX real quick.
That's interesting. So everyone puts it into a pool, so there's bigger compounding, essentially.
Right, right. But right now, like let's just screw it. But basically, let's see here. Let's see here. Basically, what you can do, which is pretty cool, is let's read this right here. So let's see here. So right here, this is the base APR, 35%, 16% in wrapped ETH, and 18% in escrow GMX. So you get escrow GMX, and escrowed means you have to vest it to get it out, right? So or you can compound it. So right now I just compound this today a little while ago, and this my boost percentage is at 31% now because I've been just compounding it. But this boosted percentage is paid out in Ethereum, and the Ethereum automatically unlocks. You don't have to vest that, right? So that's paid out in
Interesting.
Ethereum, and that's 31%. So right now I'm earning about, let's see, 50%, 45% APR in Ethereum. That's pretty
That's
fun,
crazy. Yeah, I
right?
actually haven't heard of this before.
Right. It's pretty dope. So, and then like I can claim it, and then I can claim my wrapped ETH right to my Arbitrum wallet, and then you also can go ahead and stake or vest your escrowed GMX. But if you do that, it takes down your boost percentage because you're not compounding it; you're trying to get it out, right?
Right.
So you can do either or, and it seems like the move is to just continue to compound it and then take out your Ethereum, right? That's kind of seems like the move, right?
Yeah. Because
So
yeah, 100%. So do you know any other projects that are doing this?
nothing of that degree. I don't haven't noticed anything. I mean, Beefy Finance is another project. Like their token has been doing very well over time. So nobody talks about it. I talk a lot about their protocol, but not so much their token, right? But I think it's worth talking about it because look at their graph. Like it's holds
Wow.
pretty stable, and I mean it's doing
That's
pretty well.
very strong.
So it finds a floor. There's buyback volume
Yeah.
every single day from Vault, or that's what I'm saying all the time about just earning revenue, and then that revenue creates a price floor. And GMX also has a price floor fund. So every week, part of the fees, let's see if they have it, floor price fund. So 3 million. So the floor price for GMX is, I don't know, maybe $3-4. So, but eventually, hopefully, this will build up to a larger price floor fund, and that's the floor price for GMX token. Which is
So
pretty
they
dope.
would buy back from the treasury at that level from
Right.
from those funds.
Yeah. So they have about 4 million in the price floor fund, and they only have about 1 million circulating supply. The rest is staked. So I don't. Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens with it. It's definitely an experiment, but I like what I'm seeing. So
Yeah.
and that's
And
why
their
Blue Card,
volumes have been going up pretty considerably too.
right? They moved to Avalanche as well. So
Yeah, Avalanche. I think they've been doing really well on Avalanche.
absolutely, it's zero
That's what I've heard.
slippage up to 30x, zero slippage, 30x
Oh my god.
leverage exchange. So pretty fucking dope. Although I don't leverage trade, but I just earn the fees that people fuck up with. No, I'm just playing. But anyways, that I have one more reaction thing. If you live in a country which taxes crypto gains, would you ever consider moving to a crypto tax-free country? Let's see what other people says.
Definitely consider.
Definitely consider, depending how much taxed or how much you're getting taxed. Risk to reward. The world's becoming more nomadic.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Let's see. Depends on the conditions too. I'd rather pay tax and live somewhere really great. Oh, fair enough. Let's see. If I made a lot of money, yes. Thanks. Nice try, SEC. Enter. Did they say? Let's see. That's funny. You still have to pay the U.S. their share, even if you renounce. Okay, so this is the SEC right here, guys. But anyways, that is all for today. I appreciate each and every one of you guys deciding to subscribe and supporting the Dingooo crypto community. We got a person posting on YouTube, Hugh. He's been posting great content. We have Ian and I writing newsletter, and hopefully we continue to build. I got to post more on YouTube and TikTok, but we'll see. We'll see. I gotta get out of fucking military training first this year. I gotta get out of here. But anyways, that is all for today. I appreciate each and every one of you. And anything from you, Ian?
No, I think you covered it pretty well. I'm excited for next week, and let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, guys. Have a fantastic week. Peace out. Until next time. Peace.